For our 50th episode, we turned to party planner extraordinaire Frank Poncherello. He promised plenty of celebrities and fun. Let's hope he comes through. Battle of the Network shows. Join Rick Brooks and Mike Kogel as they explore the TV of the 70s and 80s through hand-picked episodes of their favorite and not-so-favorite series.
Welcome to a very special Battle of the Network shows. Special why? You might be asking if you didn't bother reading the show description.
There may be some people that just, hey,
Yeah.
Their stuff's good every week. We don't even care what it's about.
That's
We're
right.
going to listen to it.
Yeah. So, in terms of what we're going to call full episodes, so the episodes about shows, and also Batty Awards and holiday specials, this is our 50th episode.
Woohoo! Yeah.
So we're leaving out the bonus in the episode 0.
Right.
But,
Standard episodes.
yeah. And before we get into the show we're going to talk about, and that whole thing will be an unprecedented moment.
Very unprecedented.
Yeah. We do want to mention that to maybe foster some more community and connection between us and the audience, or just the audience and the audience, we're starting a Facebook group connected to the show, but for the discussion of this whole period of shows. You don't have to just talk about what's on the podcast. If you want to talk about, whatever your favorite show from that time is, or something in the news that happens based on that, or celebrity death, whatever, things connected, a place to talk about it, and hopefully it'll help us. Maybe people will find the group and then find the podcast through the group. So be on the lookout for information about that, or just search, Battle of the Network shows. It should show up on.
Yes, we already have our official Facebook page. Hopefully you're visiting it already, where we'll do posts and links to our episodes. Right. But this will be adjunct to that, I guess, right?
Yeah, they'll be interconnected. So look out for that, and it should already actually be out by the time this airs. And we hope it'll be a place for some fun discussion.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, we're going to get into this unprecedented thing we're doing here.
I still can't believe we're doing it, actually. Yeah. I'm a little blown away by this, but... it's the 50th episode. It's appropriate.
Yeah. First ever return appearance of a show. And what show? Again, if you maybe just turn this on or pay attention, missed the little tease at the beginning. Whatever. Chips. Which on our previous Chips episode, I think we described as the most, one of the most, or the most indicative of this period, or 70s certainly show that we could think of. And we're not just revisiting any episode. Technically, we're revisiting 2.
Yeah.
And this was inspired by our Pick Your Pine DVP edition from our bonus episodes. If you haven't listened to that, you should go back and have some fun listening to that. But we're talking about a couple episodes that are essentially a sequel to Roller Disco, wouldn't you say?
Yes. Roller Disco is referenced in it. It's definitely the natural successor to Roller Disco, I would say.
Yeah. And what's the full title of this one again?
The Great 5K Star Race and Boulder Rap Party?
Yeah.
Did I get it right there? I think so, yeah.
I knew all those words were in it.
I
couldn't quite put it back together. Yeah, which, now the description that we read at the time, it included the idea that a boulder was blocking Milton Berle's driveway. It's not entirely true.
No.
A boulder is on a hill above his driveway.
It's more looming over his driveway.
Yes, and it might roll down and cause some damage.
Yeah.
Mostly to the road and other cars.
Yeah.
And now, I don't know how much we need to get into talking about Chips again. We did an entire show on it.
Yeah.
Other than to say, John and Punch, and of course Robert Pine is the Sarge.
Yeah. Disco Cops. Chases.
Yeah.
Motorcycles.
Yep. Stunning car crashes.
Generally not a lot of physical violence.
No.
Community policing.
Yeah.
Malibu.
Right.
Sun, fun.
Skin.
All those things and more.
Yeah. And this episode has all that, or these 2 parts. So the roller disco, of course, involved a number of storylines, but it was all building to this fundraiser at a roller disco.
Yeah.
With celebrities roller discoing.
Yes.
Which really was the appeal to us.
It was an irresistible premise, to be sure.
Yeah. This similarly is building to another fundraiser involving the same group, actors and other people or animals. Wait.
Yes.
Yes. And a real
or
group.
actors and other, maybe just actors and others for animals, but
yeah, I think it's other people.
Okay.
But anyway, that's still an ongoing group. In fact, I saw it referenced on an episode of the Larry Sanders Show, where Earl Holliman appeared.
Yes.
Artie's close friend, Earl Holliman. Building to that, but I was struck by not just those parallels, but it seemed like the actual stories were very similar in some cases to.
Yes.
And down to the the casting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you've got your subplots.
Right.
You're building up to the big celebrity event, but you also have these other stories.
Yeah.
That now, in my mind, this episode, it's tough to pick. I think what it built up to, the celebrity event, was better in this episode, but the other stories were far inferior to the roller disco ones.
And I think with the roller disco, you even floated the idea that maybe that should have been one episode.
Yeah.
This definitely didn't have enough story for 2 episodes.
Yeah, it was a little much.
Yeah, it really only had 2 main, well, I guess 3 if you count the Boulder, 3 sort of storylines, and then there was like a fourth one that was barely a story about the celebrity couple that's getting divorced.
Oh yeah,
and their
that's
kid.
right. Yeah, that was weird.
Tina Louise plays the mom, and so one of the stories again, and I think this parallels really the main one in roller disco. There's a dumb kid.
Oh boy, this kid was a piece of work.
Doing dangerous stuff and learning some life lessons from good old John Baker.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a bunch of sisters.
Yes.
Who I think end up helping out. I think they're in the football game.
Okay.
They didn't explain that, but I think they fill out the... Anyway. Yeah, this kid... I guess he wants attention. He's in this big family of girls, and he just party crashes a bike race, causes an accident.
It's very reckless.
It's very reckless. He blames it on them for the bike racers for not doing the good job. And that's where John and Ponch first encounter him. He gives Bonnie some lip for being a girl.
Yeah, he says he wants a regular cop to process him. I guess
she's not having that.
No.
But he really likes John.
Yeah, he
He's
takes
all excited. Yeah. John goes to visit him, and there's a social worker there. And this isn't his first time doing this kind of stuff.
No.
He's done all sorts of shenanigans. But John's like, he's gonna maybe take him to his riding club to do some horse riding. John's really big into this riding club.
Yeah, he's trying to make that a thing this episode.
He really is. And John keeps trying to teach him some things. And then he does something really stupid at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like they float like the big brother idea kind of out there. Like, I guess John's sort of like a de facto big brother is kind of what the idea is.
Yeah.
I think, doesn't the kid actually say, like, well, I don't know if he used that term, but he suggests that John be his big brother, essentially, right? And,
I think so, yeah.
So I guess it's kind of that sort of deal. Like, mentor him and keep him out of highways.
Yeah.
Things like that. Not playing in traffic.
Right. So it actually opens at the beginning of this rock slide thing in Malibu, and some rocks fall and some cars a little bit. But anyway, the Milton Berle calls the CHP about this, and they go visit him, and the main threat is this boulder up there.
Yeah.
And then there's this, they have to close off the road, and the cops have to ride bikes and wear, what do they call it, soft uniforms?
Yeah. Yeah. Milton wants them to look into it because he can't shake this suspicion that somebody's is like throwing rocks down from above. So if somebody's behind this, he wants them to get him.
Yeah. And they do question, like, well, if you don't like it, why do you live here? And he says, I'm a star. Where should I live? Oxnard?
Yeah.
But
he does a little back and forth with Paunch and John,
Yeah.
especially. Paunch is a little
yeah,
snappy, has some snappy dialogue with him.
like John is just amused this whole episode, or bemused.
Yeah.
And then the other storyline involves, really is probably the best one, I think. So the great Alex Rocco, great Ken Berry,
Oh yeah.
they're retired motorcycle racers. They have this invention. I think it makes a motorcycle with a sidecar very maneuverable.
Yeah. So nobody can catch.
Yeah, and they're trying to patent it, and they get patent advice, but then they find out, well, next they need to do a patent search, and that costs $1,500, which they don't have.
Yeah.
And so Alex Rocco's character, his name is something like Agnar. Or
Yeah.
it's not a
It's not an
normal
intuitive.
name, but
He figures out a way they can get the
Yeah.
money in a hurry.
right, by using their skills and their super motorcycle, Ansgar.
Insgar.
Yeah, and then Ken Berry plays Kelly, and Ken Berry's the casting aspect of. So in the roller disco, Larry Storch and Frank Burns,
Yeah, Larry Linville.
Larry Linville, are paired up, and Larry Linville is causing all these accidents and trying to stick it to people, and Larry Storch is just sort of along for the ride.
Yeah.
So, of course, Ken Berry and Larry Storch were in F Troop together. And Ken Berry is playing... He's not as clueless as Larry Storch was, but he's definitely not really...
He's more the innocent of the two.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, he's not the driving force behind the criminal activity, and he's, like, sort of the sidekick of the group. And
Right.
Alex Rocco's the one with the scheme. He's the schemer.
Yeah, and he's been doing scheming... We'll find out later, he's been scheming all along.
Yeah. It's kind of an interesting motivation to get this life of crime start, isn't it? Like to raise the money to pay a patent lawyer to do this work for them. I thought that was a unique setup, at least.
Yeah, and they do this daring robbery of a fur truck.
Yeah.
And that causes the giant accident of the episodes, which includes the normal cars flipping over, but one car I don't know exactly what caused it to fly into the air, but it flies in the air through the back of a tractor trailer and causes an explosion.
Yeah, I guess it's really not that funny.
No, well,
if you're in the car, but
no, but
it's a little ridiculous.
I noticed that no one was in the car.
Yeah.
At least when it comes out the other side. And another car that flipped didn't have anyone. I don't know how all that stunt stuff works exactly, but.
Yeah, it's
So I guess Chips was just ahead of its time, and all these self-driving cars are out there.
Way ahead of their time.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wonder if if Google and the other people doing the self-driving car tests are using Chips as references.
Yeah.
for possible accidents.
Like that. Maybe.
Well, if some guys on a motorcycle steal furs from a truck while driving.
Yeah.
Could that cause an accident?
They would do worse than to use Chips as kind of a research lab.
Yeah.
Maybe they can get some ideas from this innovative sidecar motorcycle design.
Right. And then it turns out later that the furs they're tagged somehow.
Yeah.
So they can't get much money for them. And so Alex Rocco he's like, we'll go down to the flea market and steal some gold. Pure gold.
Yeah. That's where you go to get a quick jewelry heist.
Yeah.
At flea market.
Which they do.
Because you can get away quick on your motorcycle.
Yeah, they ride through the motorcycle. First they go and talk to a guy.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem entirely bright, but...
You
is this gold?
Build a rapport with him.
Yeah.
Figure out how good his stock is. And
right.
Take it. Make eye contact with him.
Yes.
Talk with him for a couple.
Right. Make sure to wear your blue satin jacket.
Yeah. Yep. Check.
Right. Walk away. He'll never know because you have a helmet on.
Yeah.
The next time you come by. But they do snatch a lot of gold, and Ken Berry is the more innocent, but he's the one who has to do the actual thieving.
Yeah.
He's in the sidecar, so he has to reach out and grab things.
Yeah, it's like, here's where it almost reminds me. It's sort of a combination of the Larry Storch, Larry Linville, and the roller skating thieves kind of thing from the roller disco with the Jim Brown and Fred Williamson.
That's right. Yeah.
So they sort of combine those two, I feel, in this in this story.
And I don't know, they probably didn't intentionally, oh, we need to get the last F Troop guy on here.
Yeah.
But it's more like a coincidence, but it's interesting. They get chased by John and Ponch, and they end up hiding out in in the driveway of a house, or like beside a house.
Yeah.
And then a big rock slide happens, a big, kind of very long, visually.
Yeah.
Rock slide. And they decide to hang out there for a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's a TV producer's house. There was like a line of like Ken Berry knows who he is, and he's like, he's good, not great, but good.
Yeah.
So who do you think?
Huh.
It might be, because he also says he's like the biggest producer in TV.
I mean, you think maybe Aaron Spelling or something like that, although that might be a little.
It seems a little
early for that.
Yeah, not quite ostentatious enough for
an
Aaron Spelling house.
Yeah.
Quinn Martin, maybe.
Quinn Martin. I love Quinn Martin. I guess that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure that.
Glenn Larson.
Good, but not great. Yeah, maybe Glenn Larson.
Or Rick Rosner himself.
Could be. Yeah.
Maybe that's Rick Rosner's house.
Yeah. That might be.
They save some money.
Yeah, Ken Berry's character seems to be a little. I mean, he's reading a script and he's kind of like leafing through it, and he's fascinated by it. So he really gets a kick out of this.
He is, and we saw him earlier, like watching a movie or something. I think he's already into that, but over the course of the thing, he sort of starts pretending to be a producer, and
yeah,
and at one point he's actually like using a VCR to recut some pilot that didn't sell.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I really got any clues as to what producer it might be based on by his performance.
No,
just seemed like kind of like he was just being TV producer guy, but
yeah, smoking pipes and
wearing a robe,
having a hot tub party.
Yeah, that pretty much applies to everybody. Out
yeah.
there, so.
And meanwhile, over the couple of days where they're hiding out there, like Alex Rocco's going out and robbing people's houses because a lot of people got evacuated.
Yeah, he's burgling.
Yes, he's burgling. He's wearing unintentional blackface.
Yes.
And it turns out the motorcycle, all the parts from that he stole too.
Yeah. Hey, he's consistent.
Yeah, and he put it in Ken Berry's name, like it's registered in Ken Berry's name. So.
Oh yeah. Oops. Yeah.
I have a feeling he may have had a life of crime before he got into the motorcycle racket.
One gets the impression that he's not entirely above board in anything he does.
Yeah, but I of the stories I enjoyed, maybe just because they're good actors, and I was kind of like, I would watch this sitcom.
Yeah. The two of them made a good team, and Alex Rocco, his facial expressions and him getting exasperated about things cracked me up.
Yeah, there were a couple times where he was throwing stuff around.
Yeah.
When
he gets
Ken Berry was editing the pilot, he ripped the tape up.
Yeah. Just goes nuts with it.
Yeah.
And he provided my single greatest laugh of the episode, actually.
Oh yeah.
At the end of his story. I mean, do we want to go?
Yeah.
Do we want to? I mean, how do we want to play this out and build up to the?
I almost just want to get to the.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they don't get away with all this.
No, they end up getting caught conveniently at the celebrity event. Ken Berry's character wants to be cuffed, and they don't have cuffs because they're in soft uniforms.
Yeah.
But.
Well, I just like the way that Alex Rocco's on the ground after all this destruction and through the episode and these big chases. And he just looks up and he just goes, "I can explain everything."
Yes.
And the way he said it was classic. I definitely had a good laugh over that one.
Yeah. Back to the kid for a second. Just the dumb thing he does. So he meets this girl, kind of down. He just comes out. I think he comes down to see what's going on, and he's worried about John. And so the married couple, Tina Louise and the other guy,
John Galloway from Ironside.
Yeah. So they're divorced, and they're exchanging, it's someone else's time, and Tina Louise is bringing the daughter.
Yeah, it was like
the
a
couple's
custody.
name's Steve and Edie, which I thought was weird too.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
But because it's Steve Lawrence and Edie Orme, of course.
Right.
And anyway, because the road's blocked, they have to wait on the other side until something happens. And during that, this kid Dane meets the girl Cheryl, and they seem to like each other, and that does, in a way, it makes things a little better for him. Except for then, to prove himself, he climbs up to the boulder and tries to spray paint her name on it.
Yeah, which is a spectacularly ill-conceived idea.
Yes. And
I mean, he's like hanging on the boulder
with ropes, and
yeah.
And the other part that's a little odd about that, all these people are standing around looking at the boulder. That's all they've been doing.
Yeah.
There's a news reporter. All this stuff. No one sees that.
Yeah.
Until he drops a spray paint can and it rolls down, and John notices.
He happens to be to look up. Huh? That's what?
Right. And then he runs up to he carefully parks his bike.
Yeah.
This is his bicycle, not his motorcycle, and he runs up to the top and helps Dane get up, and then tells him that he's an idiot.
Yeah.
But that while he's up there, he sees the motorcycle guys and is able to get down, and then that too. John and Ponch chase them on their super motorcycle. They're on 10 speeds.
Yeah.
But they manage to get them.
Well, they're cops.
Yeah.
They're in their physical peak.
That's true. They certainly are, because that's all they do, right? They police or they go do various physical activities.
Yeah, they're doing some kind of activity. Exactly. Yeah.
Outdoorsy or, indoorsy at certain times.
Yes, and this is another example of the intricate plotting of Chips that these threads all tie together.
Yeah. Seinfeldian.
Yeah. Very well written.
Right. Especially that part with Kramer. Wait.
Yeah.
And then the other thread going through it, of course, is that this event is happening. And we do our best Sarge scene. Again, he's only like in a couple scenes.
Unfortunately.
I think we should mention all of those.
Yeah.
So we get the roll call.
Yeah.
And is that what they call it? Or the whatever. The meeting where
he's going over the agenda for...
Yeah. So he's trying to get ideas for this new...
Yeah, their annual fundraiser.
I still don't get who it's funding. Is it... I guess they're doing a fundraiser for the charity.
Yeah, he makes it sound like they do a fundraiser every year, but he doesn't say like this year it's so and so. It's actors and other people for animals. So it's like they're doing it on behalf of they partner with somebody each year.
Right.
And I guess it just happens to be the same group 2 years in a row.
Yeah. And for the audience sake, he explains who they are.
Yeah.
Since they didn't explain it last time, but
yeah, and he says that they're very, I guess the California Highway Patrol is always very concerned about the welfare of animals.
Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Sure.
Makes sense.
Grossi suggests a big barbecue, like they close off a road, and he offers to do the cooking.
Yeah, he's willing to cook. That's a nice offer.
And he makes a great crepe con pollo.
Yeah.
And that gets shut down pretty quickly.
Yeah, that doesn't go over very well. John mentions his...
the rodeo.
He wants to do a...
Yeah, he wants to do a rodeo.
Yeah.
At his riding club, and Sarge, anybody besides John ride broncs.
Yeah, there's not a lot of hands go up.
Yeah. And then Harlan suggests showing people a totally disassembled motorcycle.
Yeah.
He's like a little too into it, I think.
All different pieces. People have never seen that before.
Right. And then Ponch, and this is like the same day that they first met Dane at the bike race. So I kind of love it. He's like so excited. He's like almost like a little boy being excited the way he's excited about his idea. Yeah, and
and Gertruyer has already given him credit for the excellent job he did last year in organizing the celebrities for the fundraiser. So Ponch is already feeling a little, he's beaming already. He got the good props from the Sarge.
Right, and but earlier he was kind of saying he's not going to get into this.
Yeah.
John's just shaking his head.
Yeah.
And they kind of reference how much trouble it was last time.
Yeah, getting all the celebrities and.
But he has an idea: a bike race, a 5K bike race. The cops ride bikes. I guess celebrities ride bikes.
Yep, everybody rides bikes.
Yeah.
I
think he's like the bike, and then we get celebrities.
Yeah, you get stars,
which they're going to have anyway.
Yeah.
Because of the actors and other people. I never understand that.
Yeah. Why does he have to be working the shoe leather going to get all the celebrities when they're working with?
Like I think last time they got actors and other people involved.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It didn't start out like that. It started as
Yeah.
it was organically coming from them.
Right.
And then they joined later. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
that was how they got a lot of the celebrities.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this time he doesn't need to make as many calls, you would think.
You would think, yeah.
Anyway, he's excited, and John just thinks it's funny.
Yeah.
But the Sarge gives a go-ahead for that.
Yeah. It makes good sense to him.
Not long after that, they meet Milton Berle, and Ponch recruits him to be the MC or whatever.
Yeah, and he says, biking's not his thing, but if you make it touch football, he's there. And Ponch agrees. Yeah.
Go Miltie. And there are a couple scenes where there's a scene where Gertrude explains the bikes and the soft uniforms and all that. And he's like, you think you can hack it?
Yeah, to Ponch and John.
And he kind of walks away, and Ponch and John laugh.
Yeah.
I think we can hack it.
Certainly can.
But it was good. I loved that he was like kind of ribbing them, and it's Robert Pine. He's got that laid back attitude about them. It's cool. And I think my favorite moment though was later when he rode. He was on a bike and he rode away, and we're seeing him from behind, and he did a wave.
Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget why he did that wave, but it was good. He's of course mingling with the celebrities. Mm-hmm. But so speaking of celebrities, part of what happens, the Boulder thing and all that kind of puts a kibosh on the bike race.
Yeah.
And they're going to do part of it on the beach, and that's hard to get to. So Ponch arranges to go to this Malibu sports center or something, and they have it indoors. And
yeah, it's weird because John's giving him the business about that. And,
yeah.
John's really heartbroken that they're not doing the bike race. It looks like. And he's disappointed, and Ponch kind of points out, well, it's still stars, it's still competition, and people aren't going to care. And
yeah,
he doesn't. I mean, John's saying it's false advertising, and
right.
Ponch isn't bothered by it, and I don't blame him. I kind of side with Ponch on this. It's the event's probably is better than a bike race.
Right.
This way, people are going to get more up and close contact with celebrities.
Yeah, and it sells out.
Yeah.
And it looks like a good old time.
It looked like John just was disappointed he didn't get to ride in the race.
Yeah, that's probably why he and Ponch. I mean, they didn't even really spend much time at it.
Yeah, I felt bad for them actually.
Yeah,
it was like, Ponch did all this hard work and came up with a concept, and he's not even involved in it.
Right, they're on duty.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer.
I don't know. Gertrude I'm sure he had some motive.
Yeah,
he knew that kid was going to climb on that rock, and he knew John was the only guy who could deal with that kid.
Good point. I guess it worked out in the end.
Yeah,
Gertrude knew what he was doing, and yeah, I don't mean to second guess him, but
no,
I just felt bad for the guys.
Right. So this event. How would you describe this event?
Well, it's I think Ponch sort of refers to it as something like a celebrity Olympics or something.
Yeah, and he also does he uses a non-trademark way of saying Battle of the Network Stars. Like a Network Stars competition or something.
Yeah, it's
kind of what it is.
It's a little bit more
field day.
Casual. Field day is a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the intensity that we love from Battle of the Network Stars.
No.
But it has some unique events.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And there's a lot of celebrities thrown in there, and I don't really know who's on whose team at any given time. And as a matter of fact, I was disappointed with the staging of this event, that they had multiple events going on at once. I thought that was misguided.
And it didn't. And I think that was only in voiceover.
Yeah.
And again, the roller disco, it seems like they filmed this event almost documentary style.
Yeah.
And then kind of cobbled it together and put this voiceover, Harlan doing all this announcing.
Yeah, he's the
Because sometimes he'll say, there's this thing going on, and then over here this is going on, and Todd Bridges is in both events. So.
Yeah, they're making it seem like there's all this stuff going on, which was totally unnecessary.
Yeah.
I guess if you don't have enough great footage, you gotta create the illusion of movement and kind of, edit it together like that.
Yeah.
But I found myself being distracted with the fact that they're cutting away from these events to other ones.
Right.
The touch football, they really didn't have hardly anything going on there.
No, that was mostly to have a few gags with Milton Berle.
Yeah.
Him getting ignored by Merlin Olsen.
Yeah.
Him getting ignored by his team.
Yeah, trying to draw up plays.
Yeah. And then somehow and it's a guys versus girls team. So he's on that team. Jed? Michael Dorn.
Yeah,
From Star
or
Trek.
Jeb, I think
Is it
with a
Jeb?
B.
Okay, and then some other, I guess some of the other cops. I think. I don't know if any other celebrities are on.
Yeah, I was trying to look and see if I thought I recognized maybe an actual football player in there, but
Yeah.
I don't think that was the case.
Yeah, and then the girls team, it's Bonnie, the Randy Oakes character, and I think again, I think maybe the Dane sisters might be on that team. I don't know. It was confusing.
Yeah, they didn't.
They set up like Ponch said he needed some girls, and John is like, how many girls? But then they don't.
Yeah.
They just left it to us to piece together.
And all these events kind of start in the middle of them or right
Yeah.
after the beginning, and they don't set them up and they don't formally introduce people.
Right.
Which, if Battle of the Network Stars had done that, I would have hated it if they did every event like that, just going in the middle. They realized that there's a pageantry to it, and they took the time to introduce the celebrities and establish the stakes and give you a way to follow the action. They did not do that in this part, which is a little disappointing.
Yeah. By the way, if you find yourself listening to this and then you're curious about watching it, but maybe we haven't made the episode parts sound exciting, maybe you just want to watch the celebrities.
Yeah.
So these are on Amazon Prime now.
Mm-hmm. The whole series.
If you go to episode 2 and go to about 25 minutes in, that's when this event starts.
Yeah, and this is in season 4.
Yeah, season 4. And then there's a break. I think it goes on for about 5 minutes, and then there's about a 10-minute break, and then the rest of the show.
Yeah.
So 25, 39 minutes, you'll be good.
I think so.
Yeah. And if you accidentally see Alex Rocco say that great line,
Yeah.
More power to you.
I mean, Milton Bertle is amusing.
Yeah.
And the Alex Rocco, Ken Berry stuff is good, but there's nothing, as far as the other stuff goes, nothing in it compares to the Leif Garrett story in Roller Disco.
Right.
So that's one thing that this was missing.
Yeah.
There's no musical performance at this charity event that we
No.
see.
No.
And it was conspicuous by its absence.
Yeah. Oh, and so the football game ends with both teams just piled on top of each other, and then Milton Berle crawls out. I guess it was flag football. He has the flag, but he also has one of the girls' shorts.
Yeah. Just like one of those crawling out of a huddle, like a football pile-up gags.
Right, yeah, where you have another player's pants.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was the waiter race.
Yes, the waiter race.
Notable, of course, for having a number of our favorite people. Conrad Bain started out versus Daniel J. Trevante.
Yeah, that was an interesting matchup. And they're running around with trays.
Yes.
With a pitcher on top of the tray.
Champagne bottle.
Champagne bottle, and trying not to spill it, I guess, and maneuvering your way around.
Yeah. And
cones or whatever.
The anchor of, I think, Conrad Bain's team, which also included Todd Bridges and Michael Warren and I think the aunt from Different Strokes. She was on one of those teams.
You're talking about Dodie Goodman?
Yeah. Was she the aunt on Different Strokes? She just looked like the aunt.
I don't think so.
Strokes.
I'm not sure who the aunt on. Yeah.
There was an aunt who would come and pinch Arnold's cheeks.
Oh yeah.
Like Conrad Bain's or Drummond's sister.
Anyway, right.
But Dick Van Patten anchors that team, and unfortunately loses to Dean Butler. It's a little sad to see.
Yeah, and competing networks, so they didn't arrange this by networks.
Yeah.
Because Dean Butler, I guess, was on NBC, Little House, right? And DVP, of course, was on ABC. So
yeah, and then they had the Civ race.
It was an interesting concept. I kind of like this one.
So
you have a big bucket of water.
That's a sieve.
Yeah. So you got to fill up a bigger thing of water in the back, and you have to do it by passing a sieve down a line.
Right.
So you're passing it over your head, and everybody's getting wet.
Yes. Yeah. To quote Harlan, a lot of wet folks in this race.
Indeed. Yes.
Yeah. And in this whole portion of the episode.
Yeah.
A lot of wet women, but also men.
Right.
Shirtless men, wet T-shirts.
Yeah, including in the Civ race,
Todd
Merle the Pearl from Eight Is Enough was
right.
participating in this.
Yeah.
So good for him.
Yeah.
Hopefully he didn't injure that throwing shoulder in this hectic Civ race.
Susan kept being the cheerleader.
For
things, right?
Susan Richardson from Eight Is Enough, yes.
Yeah.
She was the cheerleader for the football game and the cheerleader for, at least one or two other events.
Right, yeah.
She was like the designated... Yeah, and I kept getting confused by the fact that Bonnie is in
She's in
these
everything.
events.
Yeah.
But in character.
Right, because she's a presence on Battle of the Network Stars.
Yeah, I was very confused
Yeah.
by that, I have to admit. I guess Chips is a little bit more complicated than I thought because several of these things are vexing me, but that one in particular threw me off.
We also learned that the food's being served buffet style.
Oh yeah, free food.
Yeah.
All you can eat, just go help yourself, Harlan keeps saying.
From good old Grossi. There's a chef hat on.
Yeah.
And a particularly exciting moment where he's hanging out with the bear from BJ and the Bear.
That's right. The bear is there. And also Boomer from Here's Boomer was there.
Oh, okay.
Not participating in the Civ race or anything, but
No.
it was nice that he made an appearance.
There. The bear did help out in one of the other events.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
It was
And
good
then
of them to be there.
There was another shot of, Grossi and two celebrities, and I forget.
I'm not sure.
They were like flanking him. It might have been DVP and somebody, but it was cool.
Gil Gerard?
Oh yeah, Gil Gerard's there. That's right. He was particularly a big participant in the, I don't know what they called that. Oh, the giant ball thing.
The push ball.
Push ball, yeah.
Yeah. They mentioned push ball earlier, and I was wondering, what in the world is push ball? And then I saw, well, this is push ball.
Yeah. There's like two mobs of teams pushing a really giant ball.
Yeah, inflatable ball, big yellow ball, right? And they're trying to get it across into the other territory or something like that.
Something. And he had someone on his shoulders.
Yes, and Grossi had to admonish. I think he had Sammy Davis's wife. I think it was Gil Gerard.
Okay.
It was I forget her first name.
Yeah,
Starts
I
with
didn't
an A,
know her
but
name.
so it was like an ex-wife of Sammy Davis on Gil Gerard's shoulder, and Todd Bridges was on somebody's shoulder.
Yeah.
And Harlan is admonishing them for putting the ball in the air. So I guess he says keep it on the ground or something, but I guess it means you keep it on the mob of people. You're not supposed to like throw it. I guess you're supposed to push it.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
I get throwing is a breach of the rules apparently of
Right.
push ball. But I want to say though I think they missed an opportunity there because I would have liked to have seen shots of celebrities getting food from the buffet.
Oh, yeah.
Just standing out and getting some of Grossi's cooking and
Yeah.
picking up big ladles and
Sure.
things like that. And
Yeah.
double dipping, not using forks and silverware to grab the cold cuts, stuff like that. That would have been fascinating.
Yeah.
They should have done a whole 5-minute sequence on that alone, I think.
Yeah. Not getting a new plate every time you go back.
Yep.
Yeah. There was a shot somewhere, too, of Gertrude and Vic Tayback together.
Ah, yes, there was. It was very frustrating. Some of these were like tantalizing glimpses of celebrities that you hoped would show up later in one of these games. And
Yeah.
They didn't have a lot of footage of the games, is one thing.
Right.
The push ball, it seemed like a whole mass of humanity. There must have been a lot of people involved in there and actually I think Harlan named some because a lot of the times he's rattling off a lot of these names, but there were a few that I heard him announce but didn't actually see.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit behind what we actually saw a few times too. It seemed like, which is
Right.
again kind of confusing.
Yeah.
It was a little slapdash the editing in this episode, I think.
Yeah.
Hate to say it, but I got to call them as I see them.
Yep. After push ball, there's the highly questionable orange game.
Yes, highly questionable orange game.
Problematic, maybe.
Yeah, some people are really embracing the orange handoff.
Yeah, especially Johnny Ray.
Yeah, Johnny Ray again, who was in roller disco, the enigmatic Johnny Ray. I think he was all over the place.
Yeah.
It seemed like wasn't he trying to get involved in push ball? I think he was one of the.
Oh, he definitely. Well, I don't know if he was, but Harlan makes a reference to him during the last event.
Okay.
Based on what happens.
Yeah.
So the orange thing is like, the teams are in lines, boy-girl lines.
Mm-hmm. Which tells you something right there.
Yes. They have to hold an orange under their chin and then pass it to the next person.
Without using their hands.
Yes, who also takes it with their chin.
Yeah.
And it leads to a lot of close encounters.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it, yeah.
And Johnny Ray in particular seems to take his time with Judy Landers.
Yeah, he's deliberate, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wants to make sure that there's a smooth exchange.
Right. But then, well, I don't know. It's odd, and it goes on for quite a while.
I think we could maybe give Johnny Ray the benefit of the doubt.
Sure, yeah. I mean, he's got a hearing aid.
He wants to make sure that if the orange falls too early, it'll explode, and
Right.
you don't want that to happen.
No, because then you'd be sticky orange juice all over your feet.
Exactly.
Already people soaked with water and stuff.
Yes.
It's
I don't know if there were any other real standouts in the orange exchange,
not like quite like that. No, I think.
but
I
people
know
seem
Cindy
to be
Williams was in it.
enjoying themselves.
Return star Cindy
Yes,
Williams. Rosemarie was in there. I'm sure Todd Bridges was in there because he was in all of them.
yeah, Nancy Culp, I think, showed up with the push ball, I believe.
Yes, yeah.
Not so much in the orange exchange.
Ruth Buzzy was in the Orange Exchange.
Yeah.
I don't know. They seem to be having a good time.
Yeah, and some of these performers, I guess, they must have supported this charity in real life to show up 2 years in a row. So.
Right. Yeah. Or maybe the word got out.
Yeah.
I mean, the celebrity count is much higher, I think.
I think maybe you're right. Yeah.
So like, that chips.
Yeah, or maybe
Let's go do that episode.
Yeah, it was the in thing to do.
Yeah.
And maybe the lure of push ball is just too much to resist.
Yeah. You notice who wasn't there?
Victor French.
Oh yeah, Victor French. Ernest Borgnine.
Oh yeah,
Because we know where he was.
he was at the bowling alley.
Yeah, he was at the bowling
He
alley.
was watching the bowling matches.
The other in event.
Yeah, there were so many back then.
Yeah. And then the last event is of course, is the dunk tank.
Wow, what would a celebrity event be without a dunk tank?
Exactly.
It'd be a Saturday.
What would a celebrity event with Randy Oakes in it be without a dunk tank?
Yeah. She must have seen the name of this episode. Probably she knew already. Like, well, yep, I know what's going to happen at the end of this episode.
Somewhere in there, like Judy Landers is throwing, and Harlan makes a. She's like, "Look out, Johnny Ray's coming."
Yeah, he does. It's right.
Various people get dunked.
Yeah. And Todd Bridges cheats a little bit, I guess.
Of course, yeah.
Well, he blatantly cheats.
Right. He keeps hitting the target.
Yeah, I don't know what. It seemed like weren't they kind of making fun of his? Or it's like, well, he's not doing anything wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not hard enough. I guess didn't
Right.
have enough velocity.
Could be, yeah. And it's I always forget that guy's name.
Oh, the
Brody.
yeah.
No, that's the actor's
That's
name.
his actor's name. It's starts with a B though.
Yeah. Right.
Bart. Biff.
It's like Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rilazzo. I just made that name up. But yeah, he's kind of being cocky
Yeah.
and smiling because he hasn't been dunked.
Baritza, is that it? Something like that.
Yeah, it's something like that. I can't remember the.
Yeah.
But that's what gets a frustrated Todd Bridges to go
Right.
manually dunk him.
Yeah.
And then we get the great Richard Klein.
Oh yeah, he's the one who knocks Randy Oakes in the
Yes, he does.
tank. Yeah.
He does. He means business up there, and yeah, it's quite a dunk tank.
Yeah. And tying up all the plots, of course, we mentioned the guys to get caught there, and the Tina Louise and Holloway basically get back together. They
Yeah.
decide to get back together. Inspired by their daughter's little romance with Dane.
Yes, that was a very love boatish subplot. That was.
Yeah. Oh, and then the Boulder. Haven't mentioned it.
Well,
Should we,
there's probably a good reason for that.
no, because
The Boulder resolution is very disappointing in my
Yes.
opinion.
and before they get to this last attempt, they had tried a couple things.
They try to pass with a.
The helicopter, which in Battle of the Network shows tradition went on way too long.
yes. I was thinking the same thing.
That didn't work. It was it had an okay thing where the lead engineer is kind of a wiseacre, and but he's talking on walkie-talkie to someone, and their walkie-talkie isn't working. So you get a lot of like, is your walkie-talkie working? My
Yeah.
walkie-talkie's not working
Yeah.
in that business. But basically that doesn't work, and some other things don't work. And then at the end they show it on a big giant screen. They're going to show as they blow up the rock, and nothing happens.
Yeah, that was one of the more anticlimactic demolitions I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. Milton Berle's devastated.
Wow.
Could be months. They're going to have to put up a retaining wall and just break it apart.
Yeah.
What's the concern? If a helicopter can't carry it away and a dynamite can't blow it up, is it really going to fall?
It seems like it's in pretty good shape, doesn't it? Yeah, that's a good point. There's all kinds of things going on in this Boulder. Well, I guess I'd be pretty nervous if I was living there, but not enough to go to Oxnard, so
Right.
I guess I can't blame him for wanting them to do something else. But man, I was stunned that the demolition didn't work.
Yeah.
I wasn't stunned that the helicopter didn't work because I saw that and I thought right away that's ill-fated. That attempt there. At least not without a better grappling hook or
So
a bandana. The driver of the helicopter didn't have a bandana, so I knew right away that was going to work out.
Right. And now that scene was pretty long. There's also the scene of the rock slide, which I think we meant is really long.
Yeah.
On top of that, when you watch the second episode, there's like a 5-minute previously on.
Oh, it's more than that.
Well, there's before the credits.
Right.
There's a 5-minute previously on, then the credits, and then they replay the rock slide.
Yeah, it's like 8 or 9 minutes until the actual episode starts.
Yeah, they really didn't have 2 episodes at all.
Yeah. Now, we didn't actually mention this, but this, I think you made a reference to it. This premiered on a Sunday, and it aired from 8 to 10 p.m.
Oh.
So it was on NBC, and I'll just say for posterity, it was December 7th, 1980. And I thought it was interesting that it aired in 1 2-hour block. So they had to have, they couldn't have done that whole I mean, that must just been added for reruns, right?
Yeah.
The
I hope
extended recap. But on the other hand, it seems like the episode would have gone a lot shorter if they didn't have all that filler in the middle of it, because neither one is like an extra long episode or anything.
Yeah.
So.
Wow, and this aired a day before John Lennon died.
Yeah.
Bring it down.
That's right, yeah. Well, if there's some comfort, I think, for Beatles fans, it's that John Lennon got a chance to see this episode before he died.
That's right, yeah.
The fact that they aired it as a 2-parter on one night and not making everybody wait until the next Sunday, at least we can have that little bit of peace. That he got to see how the Boulder was resolved. Well, he didn't because it wasn't resolved, but he got to see as much as we did, at least.
Yeah. Did you think... We know he visited the set of Happy Days.
Yeah.
You think if Chips had been on in his LA days, when he was hanging out with, Harry Nelson and all those people, like if this had been going on, that maybe he would have shown up?
I like to think so. I mean, I guess the Happy Days was inspired by his kid, and you'd think his kids would love Chips.
Yeah.
If they love the Fonz, they'd love Chips probably.
Right.
But if it was just him wandering onto the set, I don't know. Perhaps.
Specifically one of like roller disco or.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if he would just. Wander onto the set of Chips. There's a possibility he was pulled over by the CHP.
Yeah, more than once. Are we talking like sober John Lennon or Lost Weekend John Lennon, where
I'm assuming it's Lost Weekend. I mean,
where he could just like wander into this and
that could
like
happen
disrupt
too.
things. Unfortunately, or heckle them from off screen.
I would be okay with it. I would be okay if like John Lennon, Ringo, Keith Moon, and Harry Nelson.
Yeah,
party crashed.
Party crashed the charity event.
Yeah,
like heckling the punch ball or push ball game.
Right. Yeah. Just saw. Yeah.
That's especially no way to push a ball.
Keith Moon.
Yeah.
Just causing chaos.
You bleeding Yanks don't know how to push a ball. Well, actually, we can come back to that, but just as a quick interjection here, the Yanks don't know how to push a bleeding ball because Jimmy Van Patten pops it in the push ball game.
Jimmy Van Patten?
You said it was Jimmy Van Patten.
Who's Jimmy Van Patten?
Was it Jimmy Van? Yeah, it was Jimmy. Do I have the right acting family? I'm pretty. It wasn't.
I don't remember Jimmy.
Well, I mean, he's no John Lennon. But he's a celebrity too. He's part of the Van Patten dynasty.
Johnny the dog. What?
All right, our crack research team is looking into that. But we agree that the push ball got popped, and that ended the game of push ball.
Oh yeah. But it must have been Johnny Ray. Oh, yeah, James Van Patten. I didn't know there was a James Van Patten. And is that one of the sons?
You know what?
Because I get confused because I thought
yeah,
Tim Van Patten was a son, and he's not. He's a half-brother.
I assume that Jimmy Van Patten is one of the sons.
I assume so, too.
But I think what happened is after losing at pushball, that kind of got him out of the business because he was blackballed for years for popping the ball.
He was in Saw 4.
Oh, well, that's how he had to claw his way back into it.
Trivia. Brother-in-law of what? Gotta be more trivia.
Brother-in-law.
He's a son of Dick Van Patten.
Okay.
Dick and Pat Van Patten.
Pat Van Patten.
That's Dick's wife.
I like the idea of...
Nephew of Joyce, nephew of Timothy, brother of Vince.
I thought you were going to say that Jimmy married into the family and adopted the Van Patten name just because he wanted
That's
to.
what I would do.
Yeah, I would too. If I had a chance.
Yeah, and our buddy Rossi was in it too.
Oh, that's right. Yes, he
Walden.
was. Yeah, Robert Walden was in there.
Man, should I
Chuck
just
Woolery.
Read all these again? I think I did on the Pick Your Pine, but...
Yeah, just go to the list and we can make some comments about their performance in the show or lack of if we...
Okay. So, of course, Milton Berle was in the actual story, but we'll start with how IMDb has these uncredited ones. Conrad Bain.
Yeah. Weir's Race we saw.
Yeah. He had a nice handkerchief around the neck kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
Sort of a Western look going on. Lynn Borden. I'm not sure.
She was from Hazel, the 5th season of Hazel.
Oh.
I was hoping to get like a better shot of her, but she was in the orange handoff race.
Todd Bridges, of course.
Yeah, he was all over it.
Candy and Brandy Bro, the Bro twins, who apparently were, a thing.
Yeah, I wasn't the
attractive blonde twins who did everything.
Yeah, but weren't the Landers sisters.
Right, yeah. Joyce Bulifant.
Yeah.
Gary Berghoff.
Oh, yeah, Gary Berghoff was... he was an enthusiastic participant.
Yes.
I think he was the captain. Was he the captain of the waiter race? The other waiter?
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think he raised his hand in victory or something like that.
Dean Butler, who won the waiter race. Ruth Buzzy. We already mentioned Brian Patrick Clark.
Mm-hmm. Merle.
Quinn Cummings, I heard her name. I didn't.
Oh yeah,
see
from
her.
the Goodbye Girl. Yeah, she was one he announced it, and I didn't actually see her.
Altavice Davis.
Yes.
I mentioned Eleanor Donahue.
Oh yeah.
John Erickson.
I believe.
Wesley Urey.
Yes.
He said his name.
Okay.
From Land of the Lost.
Right. Yeah.
Will from Land of the Lost. Gil Gerard, of course. Dodie Goodman. I just want to check. Right, she was in Grease. And oh, yeah, there's a picture of her with Willis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. Lynn Gordon, David Groh, Tom Halleck. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, some of these were only in brief shots, if at all.
Earl Holliman.
Earl Holliman.
By the way, I think the Grossi image I was thinking of, it was Earl Holliman and Grossi and Robert Mandan.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I think you're right.
Charlene Holt. Johnny the dog, who must be Boomer. Yeah. He's Boomer from Here's Boomer. Jackie Joseph.
Boomer was a stage name? I don't think I knew that.
Apparently.
Wow.
He was also in the Red Hand Gang. All filmography.
Yeah, what a
For
career.
a dog. And Chips. That's about it. Christmas for Boomer and Here's Boomer.
He was typecast as
yeah.
a dog after being on Boomer.
Jackie Joseph, Amanda Horan Kennedy, Brian Kerwin.
Soap opera guy, I think.
Okay. Richard Klein, we mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Nancy Culp, we mentioned. Apparently both Lander sisters were there.
I don't remember Audrey, but
No.
I'll take your word for it.
Robert Mandan, Rose Marie,
Yeah,
Peter Marshall,
of course.
from our roast, of course. Linda McCullough, Lee Merriweather. I know I heard her name.
Yeah, like at the very beginning, they announced her.
Yeah. Donna Mills, she was involved in a couple of those
Yeah.
events. Merlin Olsen, Betsy Palmer,
Mm-hmm.
Richard Paul.
Yeah, he was in the orange handoff, I think.
Yeah. Apparently playing Rich Air Paul. According to this,
What the?
says that's his role, Rachare Paul.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That's acting right there.
Right. He was in the other one too, right? The
Yeah.
roller disco. George Papard,
Yeah.
Joanne Flug,
Yep. With
Johnny with Chuck Woolery.
Yeah.
Johnny Ray, Madeline Rue, Susan Richardson, Brett Summers. I don't remember her.
There was one shot of her.
Okay. Sean Stevens.
She was having some fun, I believe Harlan said.
Oh,
Brett
okay.
Summers was having some fun.
Was she always?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah. Sean Stevens. Is it?
I think
I heard that name.
I think she was a soap actress, maybe?
No, it's a guy.
Oh. Well, maybe he was a soap guy.
Yeah, soap guy, yeah.
Okay.
Search for Tomorrow and Days of Our Lives.
I'm thinking of Sean Southwick, too. She was not in this.
Vic Tayback.
Should have been here more.
Unfortunately, yeah. Daniel J. Travanti.
Should have been here more.
Yeah. Dick Van Patten.
Should have been in here more.
Jimmy Van Patten.
About right.
Robert Walden.
Should have been in here more.
Marsha Wallace.
About right.
Lori Walters.
Yeah, one brief shot with her, too, I think. It was mentioned by Harlan.
Oh, she's from A is Enough, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she was, I think she was in the
Joni.
Orange Thing.
Okay, yeah.
Michael Warren, Cindy Williams, Sheila Wills, Chuck Woolery. IMDb does not have the bear, but
He was there.
he was there.
Yeah.
Wow.
What an assemblage of characters and
Yep.
personalities.
Yeah, that's astounding.
So who among that, who would you have liked to have seen most that wasn't there?
That wasn't there?
Yeah, like in this kind of thing. Ben Murphy,
Sure.
the
John Shuck.
there you go. Yeah, shoot for the moon here with these names, Mike.
Everyone who was on the dais at the Dean Martin roast we talked
Yeah,
about.
that would have been good. Yes. I'd say maybe Robert Conrad.
Oh, yeah.
Because actually in this, I almost thought Don Galloway was Robert Conrad at first. He kind of had a little bit of the swagger, but it's
Yeah.
Robert Conrad. I would have liked to have seen him in the waiter race or something.
Sure.
Bring some intensity to it, but
Yeah. Sure. And, I mean, if you're going to mention Telly and Gabe Kaplan, too.
yeah. I still don't know
Actually, you know who else?
who's that.
Telly's brother.
Oh, George Savalas. George?
Yeah, I don't remember. What was his character's name on Kojak?
Costos? Or
Yeah.
Yeah. You would have liked to have seen him in this?
Yes.
Which event? In the dunk tank?
No. Well, yeah, that might have been interesting. Too, but,
Well, he might have done some damage in the buffet.
yeah, that would have been good. I would have liked to see someone at the buffet table, like, filling their plate George Costanza style.
Yeah, like overdoing it a little
Yeah,
bit and
right.
getting
Taking samples while doing it.
yeah. And getting a look from Nancy Culp or something.
Right.
That'd be perfect.
If the bear is there, I think BJ should have been. Greg Evigan should have been. There.
Good call. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mino,
Yeah. That would have been good. Yeah. I think that.
Aaron Gray. I mean, Gil Gerard's there.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Those are. Now that you mention it, it's a surprise that some of them weren't there.
Yeah. The rest of the 80s Enough cast.
Yeah.
Good Eve,
Oh.
especially.
Well, good Eve. I assume he had something better to do, but
Yeah. Willie Ames.
yeah. Yeah, he could have been there.
He could have done some music.
Yeah.
Either of them could have.
Yeah, that's one thing this episode missed. I think a big musical performance. Maybe they should have had like an actual celebrity doing a musical performance, like Chuck Woolery or something. Somebody could have sang, and that
Peter Marshall.
yeah
Yeah.
do something like that to help round out the show. Would have elevated a little bit, in my opinion.
Fill up some of that time.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, when the push ball ended early, when it popped, that probably cost them some time. They were probably planning on that to go longer, but
Right.
I still don't know who won that event.
No. There were teams of like 20 apiece.
Yeah.
I don't think I read 40 names there, but
Yeah.
it looked like. Plus, they're cops.
Yeah, that's right. They're mingled in or mixed
Yeah.
in there.
And some extras.
I wanted to see them get a trophy and have to split it like 25 ways,
Yeah.
or all of them try to carry it at once, like the Stanley Cup or something. So
And of course, I wanted to see like a 20-minute scene between Robert Pine and Dick Van Patten.
well, that goes without saying. But
And if
it's still good
Tayback
that
could
you
have
said
been there too, but
Yeah. Some of the giants of the industry at the time sharing a scene. Yeah, I mean, Gertrude got some moments, as we've mentioned, but they're not really utilizing him well in these celebrity montages, I think.
No. Although, the way the show ends, return to the dunk tank, what I called a dunktage.
Very nice.
We should get a series of, did they freeze frame them?
They did.
They
yes.
do, of the rest of the cast who hadn't been dunked getting dunked. So basically, I guess just the three leads, or is Grossi in that part?
I don't think Grossi's in
He
that
was
part.
earlier. Yeah, he may have been
Harlan's
the first.
in there.
Okay. Yeah,
I think Grossi was in there. I think he was one of the first ones.
Yeah, yeah. So, but you get Gertrude and you get Ponch and you get John and Harlan.
Yeah. And I like how when Ponch gets dunked, he makes sure to lift his head up and give a big smile for the freeze frame. You know,
Yeah.
he knows what he's doing.
So that's a good way to end a show.
It is, yeah.
They should have ended every Chips that way.
With a dunk tank.
Because they always did the freeze frames.
Yeah. I certainly wouldn't object to that. Find a way to work that into the show.
Yeah.
You're just like, all right, guys, you got to line up for the dunk tank. All the cops gather at the end of the shift
Yeah.
for the end of the shift dunk tank.
Right. So, first of all, just as a episode of TV, or a two-part episode of TV, or Chips, how do you feel this ranks?
It's odd. Like, as much as I love, I don't even think I'd put it above Roller Disco.
No, well, that was going to be my next question. As a companion to Roller Disco, like, I feel like we think the celebrity part was in general better. Although it could have used a song, it could have used
the execution was a little lost.
some
but
roller skating.
It could have.
There was roller skating at the very beginning of the show.
And I think it almost seemed like the celebrity part, if you added them together, maybe even a little bit longer, if you take out like the music and stuff. But so I feel like we got our money's worth there. But as a two-parter, it was padded, and I can't get past the letdown of the Boulder resolution. That was disappointing.
Yeah, and I feel like the stories in general in the other one were better.
Yeah.
I mean, we like the Ken Berry, Alex Rocco story, but
Yeah. I mean, that was competitive with the Larry Storch, Larry Linville thing.
yeah,
Maybe even surpassing it. But
yeah,
the Bill Daly, Leif Garrett thing from Roller Disco was way superior to anything in this.
right. Plus Jim Brown, Fred Williams.
Yes. I mean, that was not matched here. And,
Yeah.
you know, Milton Berle was okay, but you could argue that Ed McMahon in his limited role was better than Milton Berle, or surpassed him in Roller Disco.
Now, how about this running gag? We forgot to mention the celebrity lookalikes that Ponch kept seeing.
Oh, yes.
He saw Burt Reynolds in Traffic.
Was
Linda Ronstadt.
Linda Ronstadt, yeah. That was
I think she was roller skating.
yeah.
She didn't look like Linda Ronstadt.
Yeah, I don't, they were stretching on some
and
of
then
these.
a Robert Redford in Electric Cowboy Guys.
Yeah.
I think that was it, but
Yeah, that was... Yeah, they could have done more with that, too, I think.
Yeah.
If they were going to do it more than once, they should have done it throughout the whole episode,
Right.
like more, I think.
I mean, wisely, you can't put the lookalikes in with the
Right.
celebrity part because that might cause confusion. But
I guess that would have been good if they had had more scenes of Ponch trying to round up celebrities. They could have done that. That would have been amusing, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what say you? I mean, I think it didn't need to be two parts. I think it would have been a great single-part episode.
for our purposes as a companion to Roller Disco, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Of course, I watched it twice because I watched it not long after we did the Pick Your Pine,
Yeah.
and these happened to appear on Amazon.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I got to watch that.
Exactly.
You know, that's probably a little too many times to watch. Comparing them, ultimately, I feel like it's like in the world of sequels, it's more a James Bond type sequel than like a Star Wars or something. Like, it's not progressing a story,
Yeah.
that kind of sequel. It's just a sequel trying to do a lot of the same things as the previous one and maybe
yes.
not doing them as well.
Got a lot of the same high spots and trying to hit the same marks, and yes.
Yeah, right.
I admire them for trying, though.
Yes.
They could have tightened it up a little bit, but I like the fact that they went back and did it again. They went back to the well.
Yeah.
Pretty early, actually. Not even
Right.
at the end of the next season. I guess it was halfway through the fourth season, essentially.
So Roller Disco.
Wasn't that the closer of the third season?
I
No,
know
no.
it was the
I'm
premiere
sorry.
of the third
You're right.
season.
It was the
Yeah.
premiere. Okay. I apologize.
Right.
It was a full season afterwards. Okay.
Yeah.
They gave it proper time to breathe.
Right.
Um,
But then they didn't go back again. I guess they only had one more season after this, or two.
well, I think they do 2 seasons because they had the Bruce Jenner stuff was in the
Right.
6th season, and wow, 6
The
seasons.
new guys, yeah.
They had at least one more season. I think they went through 6 seasons. It's a lot of chips.
That's a lot of chips, yeah.
And in the 4th season, they're having to pad episodes to
Right.
to 2-parters. But yeah, I think it's a worthy choice for our 50th episode.
Yes.
And we got to see a lot of celebrities. We got to see some wacky and unusual events. So I'm glad we watched it, but I think we've got to be honest to our listeners and say that it didn't quite fulfill its mission the way it should have.
Yeah. Again, if you want to go watch certain parts, and maybe that's fine. You might, the helicopter shows up, you might just, hit the fast forward and get to the next bit.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Some other things like that. But, yeah, and just a thank you to our listeners for keeping us going this far along, to the point where we could conceive of talking about chips again.
Yeah. And don't worry, folks. We realize there's a lot of shows we haven't gotten to, and the fact that we've revisited one does not mean that we will ignore the others.
That's right, and when you get to the end of the season, you'll see that this is actually, well, not a bonus episode, it is an extra episode. We're giving you 13 episodes rather than 12.
Yeah.
So no show lost its place because of this.
Yeah, and we resisted the temptation to make this a 2-part episode.
Yes.
And putting in a 10-minute helicopter sequence.
One day. One day we'll do a supercut of all the helicopter sequences.
Yeah.
Interminable helicopter sequences.
Yeah. The only thing better than long helicopter sequences is long sequences of us talking about helicopter sequences. Anybody for Airwolf?
There is someone.
Yeah.
Must resist as long as possible.
Yes.
All right. It's 50. We'll be back for 51.
This episode brought to you by the California Department of Transportation. Our engineers bring the solutions and leave you laughing. This episode also brought to you by Grossy's Barbecue, now serving Kruplock con Pollo. This episode also brought to you by us. Join us next time for another exciting episode of Battle of the Network Shows. Learn more, leave feedback, and suggest future episodes at battleofthenetworkshows.com. Follow us on Twitter at BatNetShows, and like our Facebook page, facebook.com/Battle of the Network Shows.